Once in a while, I find a video game that has an incredible educational potential. Sometimes it's a game about physics, sometimes it's a game about math, but this time it's a game about biology and specifically immune system and genetics. This is a game called CURE, which stands for Contagion Utilization Research Experiment. It's a game that combines real-time strategy, also known as RTS, with a really awesome game about biology. Welcome to What the Math. Today we're taking a look at CURE. And let's start by saying that this is actually not a game that has been released yet. As a matter of fact, currently it's running a Kickstarter campaign, so if you actually enjoyed this, feel free to support it. I'm going to post the link for this below. And this is actually a demo version, so it doesn't really show you everything yet, but there's quite a lot of things that are already planned. We're going to just play through this because demo version is challenging, and it only gives you 20 minutes to do things. Let's start the game. I'm going to show you how it works. You're essentially a bacteria. Well, technically, you're an experiment. You're an experiment by some crazy scientists that discovered that you can genetically modify these bacteria and you can actually control them. And so we can basically control these by selecting them and right-clicking in our environment. And essentially, there's 5 different environments you play in. This, oh geez, there's enemy already. This type of environment is a blood, or not a blood, but basically blood, where you have these enemies, invaders, and they're trying to destroy this human being, and you're essentially inside his blood and are trying to save him. Now, as you can see, there's already enemies near me, and I actually am trying to escape them because I can't really do anything to this particular enemy right now. I'm just trying to run away from them. No, it's a targeting enemy, so it's not going to leave me alone until I find... Oh boy, here comes the failure number 1. So this is how hard this game is. So let me just try this again. I'll show you how to play and try to do this a little bit smarter this time. And the first step in this game is usually to find resources, but really carefully. So magnesium is not actually currently used, but that's one of the resources that will be used later on. Glucose is, however, something we can use right now. We're going to go inside glucose and start absorbing it. And basically, you're playing as a kind of a controllable bacteria or a genetically modified organism. And this organism can genetically mutate, and this is actually part of the gameplay. You actually will have to mutate your bacteria later on to make them stronger, better, faster, and so on. And because this will be an online game, every player will be able to mutate their bacteria in a very specific way, in the way that you want to play, essentially. So this game will be multiplayer, will have multiplayer campaign, and also single player campaign, and you essentially are trying to outsmart your opponent and make your bacteria stronger, better, and more reliable. So we have enough materials now to actually undergo a fission, which means splitting of bacteria into 2. This is how bacteria usually procreate, and so now we have 4 bacterium, and we can try to create more. Now that's step number 1. Step number 2 is to find another type of material that will allow you to morph these into your first soldiers. Now, these soldiers will always be different depending on how you genetically modify your little creatures. And what you see here, these huge things are obviously red blood cells. So in terms of realism, this game is actually pretty realistic. It does have things like killer cells, T killer cells, and other killer cells that will actually hunt you down. So you're not technically part of this body. You're actually an invader as well. But your job... Oh, no. Run away. And your job in this particular game is to essentially... this is what I was looking for, calcium. Your job is to try to... destroy the invaders, and you can see there's pathogen right here, 100%, and also this person's health meter is showing right here, 100% as well. I'm trying to basically run away from this enemy, and I failed again. Luckily, we have enough bacteria saved here, so we're going to reproduce a little bit more, create more of these guys, and send them on our merry way to that calcium deposit. And this will allow me to create my first soldiers. Now, these soldiers I think can be named later on. I'm not exactly sure how it will work, but in the body they would obviously represent white blood cells, but because you're not playing as part of the body, you're actually not technically a white blood cell. You start as something called colonizer. You can create something called soldiers, but you're not really a realistic bacteria. You're technically a genetically modified bacteria. Now, the cool thing about or what I really enjoy about this particular game is that it has a lot of really awesome realistic concepts. Like fission is obviously one of them, how bacteria creates, but also things like morphine, where you change into another cell, which is actually realistic as well. There's things like digestion. So for example, if I become a soldier now, am I going to be able to become a soldier? I'm not sure. I forgot what I need. Is it magnesium that I need? Maybe something else. So you can actually, like for example, you could actually kill this cell, and unfortunately this would set the body's alarm on, and it would very likely start attacking you as well. But if you're low on materials, you can actually kill this cell and then absorb it. And this is one of the features in the game. There's also things like motility. Obviously, these cells can move around, and they can. A lot of them are mobile, but not all of them are mobile. And of course, things like chemotaxis, which is the ability of a cell to sense its environment around it. So the reason why this cell is attacking me is because it senses my chemical presence. And we're going to try to run away from it finally. Let's see if it works. It might not be able to see us. No, it sees us anyway. Go away from me. And the reason why it can kill us is because of those spikes, which is also very realistic, because I'm going to actually try to attract it into this area. And boom, ha! You attack your own. Sulfur. Do I need sulfur? I think maybe this is what I need. I think I need the sulfur. Oh no, menu. No, go away, menu button. And we died. And I just found alcohol, which actually will allow me to kill some of the enemy units if they actually stay in there. Okay, I'm going to go down instead and see if I can find something here. Okay, there's glucose and enemy nearby. Let's stay in these chemicals. These chemicals will definitely allow us to morph. We're gonna bring everyone in here actually. And split up some of them and bring them into this location, because this will allow us to create a huge army, which we can then use. There we go. We can now morph into soldiers and start trying to attack these enemies. There's enemies right there actually, and they're creating this hostile environment to the body and also to us as well. So now that we're actually we have soldiers, we can give them something called injectosomes, which are basically these spikes, which will essentially attack the enemy and will harm the enemy cells. I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to just directly jump into this cell right there, and also this cell right here. And there they come. They're going to boom and dead, and boom and dead, and boom and dead. So now that they're dead, we can actually absorb their cells. We have to get out of this area though, because unfortunately this is not safe for us. These cells do actually have health points. They're displayed right here. This cell is about half alive, and this cell here is also about half alive. We're gonna create more of these spikes. And now that these enemy cells are dead, actually, first of all, you see pathogen decreased, and also the other thing that happened now is that I can now absorb their cells and eat them and create more of my guys. So we're gonna create more soldiers. Actually, I should probably keep a few colonizers in reserve, and some of them will stay here, and the rest of the guys here will actually split. So each cell here has special abilities, like all of the soldiers are able to create these injectosomes, and they'll be able to try to attack the enemy. So I'm gonna give them a little bit more glucose, and one of the colonizers is going to go here and eat the enemy cells. I'm gonna absorb these guys and get more resources from them. Alright, as we're doing this, let's talk a little bit more about what this game is going to be like. So first of all, there's going to be several environments. There's going to be 5 different environments. There's going to be pond, which is obviously water, petri dish, brain, or inside the brain. There's going to be blood, which is this right here, and that unit. They died because I sent them into alcohol. How smart. Lastly, there's going to be intestines as well. All of these different environments will have different sort of bonuses, different chemicals, different things going on in them. So for example, in intestines, you'll probably find a lot more alcohol, a lot more dangerous things that may kill your cells. There's also going to be different resource pockets available, but none of them are actually permanent. So once you use up a resource, like for example, once I use up This here, I have to move somewhere else because I can't really stay here anymore. There's nothing to eat for me. We have to move to a different location. You can also obviously eat up your enemies, and this will allow you to restore some of your resources, but that's not going to be enough for you to basically successfully finish the campaign. There's also going to be different temperature and also radiation zones, and depending on how your cells have mutated, temperature may actually have different effects on you. Let me show you how you can actually use or acquire extra resources by doing this. Look, you can actually kill body cells. Unfortunately, this will lower the health of the person, but you can now actually absorb these things and give yourself a lot more resources. If you actually need some extra resources, all of the cells are able to absorb things and create resources out of these dead cells. Anyway, so let's move on for now, and we're gonna talk about other things that this game will have. There's also going to be predators, and specifically here we're talking about the body defense mechanisms, which will try to eliminate you as well. This is very realistic of how the body works, because in most cases the body will try to get rid of any kind of invader, even if it's helping the body. In this case, the immune system will actually respond by trying to eliminate your genetically modified cells as well. Also, once you mutate your cells, they'll actually stay mutated, so it's a very persistent game. It will actually keep your mutations for good. So you want to possibly plan out how you're going to play this game by maybe researching a little bit, or doing a little bit of reading about how biology works. And this is actually where the learning element comes in, because in order for you to be successful in this strategy game, you actually have to learn a little bit more about biology. And because this game will have a multiplayer component, and obviously a lot of competition between players, you'll definitely want to know what you're doing. You'll have to learn more about what these cells are like. Alright, we're gonna attack these enemy cell. There's only one here. Where did it go? Here it is. Oh no, it created its own spikes. Darn it, it killed my thing. Die! Die, darn it. 1-on-1. We died. Alright, so it won actually, because two of my cells were unfortunately a little bit weaker than its one cell. Alright, so let's send these colonizers back here. I'm going to select all of our soldiers and send them into battle. We're gonna go and find more pathogens to destroy. Now, I haven't finished this demo yet, because it only gives you 20 minutes to essentially kill all of the pathogens. And from what I understand, not many people, if actually possibly not even anyone was able to finish this yet. It's actually a very challenging demo because of the time limit, and due to the time limit, you actually you have to work really fast to try to kill all of these pathogens. I've gotten to like 50%, so I've destroyed like half of them, but never killed everyone. So it's challenging. One of the strategies that I've noticed works well is to create a lot of these battle groups, I guess, and then you can actually combine them into one battle group by pressing Control 1 or Control 2, and this will allow you to select all of them at once. Just throwing them around the map, trying to destroy everyone. But even with that strategy, I haven't really finished this demo yet. And this game actually is very, very strategic, and this is what I enjoy about it. So not only do you have to control these resources and be very mobile to survive, you also have to avoid things like this, arsenic. This is a deadly chemical that will kill me if I go inside of it. You also have to obviously plan out how you're going to attack the enemy. You have to try to stay mobile, but at the same time know exactly where the resources are and possibly sacrifice some resources for you to basically survive. And lastly, you can actually use some of the physical objects here, like some of the bigger cells, to either kill them and absorb resources, or to actually block things using them. And as you saw before, I can even use things like alcohol to essentially help me out and destroy the enemy that way. Now, I'm not entirely sure if the actual game will have a time limit. I hope not. I don't think it will actually. I think this is just for the demo version. But essentially, even without the time limit, this game will not be easy. As you can see, it's kind of challenging to try to survive here. I haven't really lost any of the battle group here yet, because I've been attacking in huge numbers and trying to recreate my injectosomes by continuously absorbing nutrients and also creating them by pressing the spacebar here. you know what? This is not easy. This is not as easy as it looks. And as a matter of fact, the person who finishes the demo, please post a screenshot of what happens at the end, so we can all see, because it's actually kind of hard. Okay, there's an enemy right here that I just saw. There it is. So these guys are creating these deadly areas that we can't really live in for a very long time. But once you kill them, they're going to be dead for good, and this area will actually disappear. There we go. We've now reached 55%. I may be able to beat my old record if I get below 50%. Although I need to create more injectosomes. These guys need more defense and more attack. Oh, there's an enemy. That's the guy who killed my other guys. You need to die now. You need to die. Now, one thing you may not like about this game is how simple the battles look in the beginning, but the thing is, once you actually mutate your cells, they will have different defenses. There's even like things like lasers later, because technically you're playing as a scientist, right? So you will actually have these nanomechanisms, nanomachines that will allow you to... Oh boy, I think I'm dead. I don't think I have enough resources to create more injectosomes. Darn it. So you will actually be able to create nanomachines to support your troops, to create these sort of like towers that will defend your colonizers, defend your area. And later on, your cells will actually become much bigger, much stronger, with a lot more offensive capabilities, which will all be displayed here. Now, I think I finally destroyed this guy. Oh no, I didn't. No, he's still alive. He killed all of my troops. Oh well, that was fun. Let's create more soldiers. We're gonna morph these guys into soldiers. This guy will stay as a colonizer, and we're gonna send them back into battle. Alright, so while we're waiting for the soldiers to actually be created, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the cool scientific concepts here. Now, there's a lot of genetics in this particular game. There's actually going to be a lot of genetical concepts like horizontal gene transfer, mutation, gene modification, and you'll actually have to learn a little bit about how genes work to be successful and to actually create a very, very potent cell. So it's not going to be very straightforward at first until you learn a little bit of biology, which is actually something I really enjoy, because I like games that teach you stuff. I like games that enforce you to learn stuff before you can actually succeed in them. And this is one of those games. You can't just create a random cell and expect to win this. You actually have to know what you're doing, which is, I think, a pretty cool way of going about this. Okay, this soldier is ready to go as well. We're gonna send it with us. And let's go attack people. Let's go attack those cells. I haven't really beat my old score just yet, but we'll see if we might be able to win this time, or at least beat our old score. Let's try to get to a slightly higher score than 53%. And another really interesting concept that will be available here is chemical conversion. So some of these chemicals, like magnesium and calcium, will actually be able to convert it to other chemicals. You'll actually be able to use some of your cells as kind of like factories to essentially create things that you need for your cells to survive. Oh no, it killed the blood cell here. That's why the health went down. All right, we got this guy. We're going to get rid of, or get out of this dangerous area and try to find someone else to kill in the last 30 seconds. Come on, you can do it. We can do it. We can beat our old score. We just have to get below 50%. And oh no, I killed the cell. Darn it! I shouldn't have done that. So the chemical conversion will obviously play a very important role in trying to be successful in this game. And there's a lot of other really interesting concepts that have been added that are actually very realistic. Like, for example, endospores. Some of your cells will be able to actually turn into endospores, which are spore-like... Oh no, I failed. Darn it. So yeah, so some of your cells will actually be able to create or to turn into endospores, which are sort of like the very resistant bacteria that will be very hard to kill, but will not be able to move much and can be used for purely defense and for possibly creating walls. So there's a lot of really interesting scientific concepts that will actually make this game very, very, very interesting to play. And I actually highly recommend that you either support this now to get the early access, or try this when it actually comes out as a full version. Now, before I finish this video, I just wanted to say that I'm really happy that this company decided to make a very scientifically accurate real-time strategy that will hopefully teach future generations about biology, about genetics, and about the importance of immune system, obviously, and also the importance of all of the medical research that is going on in the world. And this will kind of give you a better idea of why it's kind of important and why and how your organism usually works in trying to eliminate different pathogens. Now, and all of these really important biological concepts will hopefully be introduced into this final version of this game called Cure. Welcome, Doctor. Anyway, so that's all I wanted to show you about this particular game. It's definitely really enjoyable, and I'm posting the link for this Kickstarter project in the description below. Once the Kickstarter finishes, I hope they do raise enough money to create this beautiful game. And if not, maybe someone else will be able to support them so they actually finish this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little playthrough, and hopefully you'll support this game as well. I'll see you guys in the next video. Game you later, and as always, bye-bye. And don't forget to subscribe if you still haven't, because there's more educational game reviews coming in the future. Also, share this video with someone who you think may actually like biological games or just likes unusual and really interesting real-time strategy games.